Assalamu alaikum everyone. I hope you guys are doing good. Welcome to this live stream by NICF Faisalabad. So this is our first LinkedIn live today, and I'm very excited to host this LinkedIn live today. This is me, Abu Bakr Dilaver. I am from marketing team of NIC Faisalabad. So before we start, I wanted to tell you that NICS cohort 8 applications are open, so you can be part of this state of the art facility and get our benefit from our mentorship circle, from our industry linkages, and from our investors network. And you can build your startup here with us today. So today we have an amazing guest with us on a very interesting topic, which is, I think, most of the people who wanted to work into the hardware industry are basically confused about this topic and wanted to get more knowledge about this topic. So we all invited an amazing founder, that's our very own founder of NICF, to guide you guys on this topic, and so that you can get benefit from his journey and you can get benefit from his knowledge about this specific topic. So please welcome Mohammed Mohsin, the CEO of Inventornest. How are you, Mohsin, today?
First of all, thank you for this invitation. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm good. Alhamdulillah. What about you?
I'm perfectly fine. That's good. So before we start this LinkedIn live and jump straight into the topic, I want you to give a brief introduction about yourself.
Well, this is Muhammad Mohsin Aslam, and I'm a founder of Inventornest. This is basically a electronic product design and development company, and we invent products for the startups and industries. And it's been more than 10 years we're doing this. As far as my educational background and career, I have done my bachelor's in electrical engineering, and then I have completed my master's in industrial automation and control. So this is all about my brief introduction.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So, as you have been developed a lot of hardware products and also आप globally भी clients के साथ काम करते हैं. So, I wanted to ask a very important question. Like, I'm personally very confused about this topic. Like, what a possible product development life cycle is.
Abu Bakr, I would like to explain this question in a detailed manner, like so that everyone who is actually listening can understand the life cycle of a hardware product, because this is one of the most important thing. And mostly founders with we have worked in our industry, so I have experienced this problem. Like they are into the hardware idea, they have their hardware idea, but they really don't know the life cycle. So whenever if you have an idea and you wanted to design any of the product, so first step is the feasibility analysis. And during feasibility, we actually research. First step is like whether we can design this product, because like the idea should must be practical. It shouldn't be like hawa mein baat chal rahi hai, or it is not possible to even invent it. Okay. So first of all, the idea should be feasible. कि वो बना सके कोई ना कोई, वो कंपनी कोई ना कोई बना सकती हो. This is the most important thing. And second thing is, अगर मोस्टली स्टार्टअप्स आपके पास जब आते हैं तो उनके पास इस चीज़ की एक्सपर्टीज भी नहीं होती. सो दैट्स व्हाई दिस इज आल्सो वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. यू शुड हैव टू हायर समवन सो द लाइफ साइकिल वो इम्प्लीमेंट कर रहे हो. Step one is a feasibility analysis. During feasibility, there are subcategories like idea should must be feasible. Second thing is the cost analysis. For example, if you are designing any of the product and it is going to cost you $100, and similar kind of available products are available in market in $20, it means the product which you are going to design, or maybe you are going to take help from some company, then definitely this product is a failed product. So this is one of the most important another perspective in this life cycle. So there are a lot other questions which varies from product to product. Like for example, if the company which is going to design a product, they are going to use a main microcontroller, and this microcontroller is an obsolete microcontroller which is not going to be available in the market in future, and you have used that microcontroller in your product, then definitely you are going to face challenges on the mass production phases. So again, first step is the feasibility analysis, in which there are a lot other questions which you have to, I mean, first write down, and then you have to research on it, either this is possible, this is not possible. So once the feasibility research is going to be feasible, then you are going to move towards the next step, which is which is we called as a design phase. During design, we are going to design the PCBs, which is called as printed circuit boards. Before that, the electronic schematics design, printed circuit boards, firmware design and development, and then the third phase, which we have called as fabrication phase. During fabrication, the product designers, what they are going to do is like they are going to fabricate the PCBs, printed circuit boards, and then fabricate the enclosures. And then fourth step comes in which they are going to do assembling, which is we call as prototyping and assembling. So they are going to assemble everything, whatever the designs they have done and whatever the fabrication they have done. After that, the fifth step which comes is the testing. So at that step, they are going to do the deep testing, and if they are going to achieve their final results, then we will consider it as a first prototype ready, which we also but this is not going to be a final product. So this is also a misconception in between a lot of people. So the thing is, at this step what they have achieved, this is just a prototype. Don't think like this is a complete product, because product and a prototype, there is a difference between that. Okay, so in fact, after this, once you are going to pitch to the investors and you are going to take the feedback from the market, you will find out like there are a lot of other changes are still required in that. So after that, after doing, maybe you have to do these all of these changes in the prototype 2, version 2. In that, you are going to resolve all of these problems on the basis of the information which is provided by the market, and then you are going to complete the prototype 2. And after that, once this will be done, again, this still is not a complete product. Then the MVP will be designed, minimal viable product. And now at this step, you can say that you are very close to the final product. But again, this is the final prototype. And after that, the design for manufacturing phase will be started, in which you are actually going to convert all of the prototype files into the manufacturable files. So the manufacturing company can be use these files and can actually design and develop the product. After that, the last step is the after the manufacturing, then the mass production will be started. Mass production has different steps. If I'm going to explain about the mass production steps, sub steps in which they are going to follow, like the step one is during the mass production, there are a lot other factors which you have to be considered. Like if we are going to consider the costing of the mass production, there are 5 to 6 main factors which depends on the mass production costing. I'm explaining this section within this question so that everyone who is actually listening to me, they can understand and they can design the whole life cycle accordingly. Okay, so during the mass production, the step one is to to measure the cost of the product, and the cost of the product directly depends on the order quantity. If you are going to calculate, and this is one of the major misconceptions which is done by the founders, like they are going to take the costing on the maybe 1 lakh units, and once they are going to do the mass production, they have only 5,000 units or funds available, so then the cost would be different. So step one is during the mass production, the costing depends on the MOQ directly. Second is the order quality. What kind of quality you are expecting? If you are looking for the premium, then different, otherwise different. Third is the packaging. If you are looking for the premium packaging, then cost would be different, otherwise different. Fourth, these days, trade war is going on, so it has a direct impact on it as well. Fifth is the freight. It has a direct impact also. So there are a lot of other things which has a direct impact in the mass production phase. So after the mass production, the packaging phase will be started, and the shipments and freight. So this is the complete life cycle of the product design and development. Abubakar, you are on a mute
I said
probably.
this is a very well explained answer. Thank you so much for give us a very detailed life cycle of the product. So now I wanted to go a little further. Like before jumping into the sea, you should know the consequences of jumping into the sea. So I wanted to ask if an early stage founder wants to do something in the hardware business, what challenges he or she should keep in their mind before going to this market?
Well, this is again a very important and interesting question, because being a founder, if you are a technical founder, then the challenges would be different. But if you are a non-technical founder, then the challenges would be quite different and more than worse than the technical founder. I'll consider a non-technical founder, because if you are a non-technical founder and you have chosen an hardware idea, you really don't have any idea of the process, and also the consequences which you are going to face if you are going to choose this idea. you have to understand that probably 95% startups fail, no, doesn't fail because of their idea. They actually fail because of the wrong execution of the idea, and at the end of the day they have to pay the higher prices. Okay, so if on the clear notes, I'm going to explain, as I have explained in my previous question, the feasibility phase. Mostly founders do not do this, even they don't know this step exists. So feasibility phase is one of the most important phase before moving and jumping into this hardware industry. You have to evaluate which idea, which problem you are going to resolve. Then you have to do a complete you have to sign an NDAs, and you have to work on the ideas compliance, like your idea is not going to be copied anywhere. Third, the most important thing, you have to work on the um, cost analysis. You have to do it. Number four, you have to work with a product design company. You are not be able to design your idea by your own. And if you are going to, if even if you are a technical founder, this is the mistake of the technical founders. Many times engineers, they think they can actually design their product by their own, but this is where they are going to do a huge mistake. So you have to onboard an electronic product design company. They are going to do this technical feasibility for you, because the right job done by the right people is the main thing. Okay, so these are the major first phase challenges. You have to go with the feasibility phases. So once you will done with the feasibility by the experts and the results are okay, then you have to move towards the next step. Here, another problem. There are two types of founders exist. Number one, they wanted to just take their idea little functional, and they just wanted to present to the investors and take the fundings and to move towards the next step. But on the other hand, the second strategy exists is like, whenever you are going to design any of product and you are going to present to the investors, investors will definitely see the how this prototype is going to be the actual product. And once this prototype is going to be the actual product, so what would be the costing, what would be the, I mean, packaging cost and everything, and also the availability of the components. If, as far as we are discussing, like the local sourcing available or the global sourcing available, so we have to consider this. So there are a lot other challenges exist. So the step by step they have to work, the feasibility and the availability of the components, cost analysis, NDAs. So all of these steps they have to go through, and then they will be able to come to the position where they can actually launch their product.
Perfect, perfect. So before, like as you said, that you right person should do the right job. So I think in the engineer's job must be basically about designing the product, right? So I want you to give some info or some of your insights, like the things that you do in basically when you think about the design of the product.
Well, as far as the product design is concerned, there are several departments involved in it. So even if you are an engineer, you cannot do all of the jobs which is in one product lifecycle is important. Okay, so there are probably three to four kind of engineering departments have to collab, and they are going to develop the complete product. So at one side, uh, mechanical design engineers who is going to design the enclosure of the products. The second one is the firmware team who are going to actually develop the firmware of the product. At the third side, there is a electronics team, mechatronics team. They are going to design the electronic schematics, and then the PCB design and development, and then they are going to assemble it. And at the fourth, there is a QA team who is actually going to test the whole product. So this kind of a teamwork is very important whenever you are going to come in the hardware industry.
That's nice. That's nice. So, Mohsin, as we have seen, like people are usually more tilted toward sourcing their hardware from abroad, basically from China or from anywhere like the bigger market, right? So, as most of our listeners and NICS audiences startups, so I wanted to ask you, like for the startups, if they are developing IoT devices or like electronics hardware, so should going with the hybrid approach, like they outsource some of the products from abroad or some of the products from Pakistan. So what is the best approach for them?
Well, this is one of the most important questions, because whenever we are going to do the cost analysis at the first step, at that time we have to evaluate from where we are going to do the sourcing. So as far as the sourcing is concerned, every country has a limitation. So similarly, Pakistan has also. So every country has their own positives and the negatives. So considering this, we have to evaluate our current grounds, and we have to see what kind of components are going to be used in our product. So accordingly, we have to evaluate which components we can source from Pakistan at a cheaper prices with a good and reliability, which is not going to compromise. And on the other hand, we have to make a list which components we can mainly source from the China, because China is our neighbor country and it is very good to source from the China. So then we have to make a complete list, and then we have to do the next very important point, which is called as vendor collaborations and vendor discussions. So where we have to find out their MOQs. This is another big challenge which usually most of the founders do not consider. Like if you are going to source any of the component from XYZ company in the China, they will ask like they have this minimum order quantity. But on the other hand, the MOQ which you are going to mass produce, you don't have the facility, you don't have the capability or the funds available to meet their MOQ. So this is another challenge, which is usually most of the founders do not even consider, and they just see like this component is available at this price, and they are just going to start calculations on the basis of this information. But once they are going to actually move towards and in the discussion phase of the vendors, they will see this problem. So considering the beginners, as far as you have asked for the strategy, yeah, I would recommend the strategy is good if you are going to uh, choose the hybrid model, where you are going to choose the Pakistani products components and available also, and also from the China. And whenever we are considering this approach, you have to be considered like at to some extent, to some certain order quantity, this strategy is good. But whenever we are moving towards the large scale, the strategies will be changed. For the early stage founder, this is good, but on the large scale, the strategies will be changed, and then every penny has a direct impact on the whole process. So at that time, this is very crucial to to take the prices down. So at that time, you may have to fully source from the China, or you may have to design a process where you can actually design the whole product within Pakistan. Because as far as the import concerns are increasing in Pakistan, so it has a direct link with it as well. So I would suggest as maximum as possible do sourcing and do use the Pakistani components, which is possible.
That's a very good advice. So Mohsin, as you have developed a lot of products by yourself as well, so I wanted to ask actually like what's your design thinking process? Like if I ask like my design thinking process is I listen to the music or like sit somewhere. So what's your process actually?
Well, we have invented 200 plus products till now. So, but in our case, usually the design thinking, or you can say that it comes from the client. It is not mine. So, but
Okay.
as far as my client is thinking, they actually thinking about the real problems. So, as far as my experience, I have worked with 200 plus founders, and the problems they start with a very little problem. On the other hand, the problems initially, this is again a very huge mind shift, which is our audience can also use. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You have to just update the wheel. So this strategy you have to follow, and you have to come up with the very minor problems. Let me give you an example. One of my client, he came from the Norway, and he says, Mohsin, whenever I sit in my car, I have to go back and to clear my back camera of the car. So this is a problem every day I face. So I wanted to resolve this issue. So in this way, you have to see what problems you are facing in your daily life, and what improvement you can take, and what either the problem is genuine, either the solution is available, either the solution is viable. So considering these two four questions, you have to ask by yourself. And once you will see like, oh yeah, this is doable, this is possible, then definitely you can come with an idea. You can take this into the market as well. So this is the strategy which usually my clients follows, and I love that. And as far as the West is concerned, I have worked with a lot of US clients. So I love their thinking strategy with the problems. One of my truck driver, he's also my client. He comes to me like, Musin, I run a vehicle of which we usually call as a bicycle truck, the full size truck. So he says whenever I have to give the right indicator, so if the car which is right to me comes down, so it is very difficult for me to take the to change the lane. So at that time, I wanted different kind of lights which will be at the center of the truck, middle of the truck, and which is going to be indicate the truck is going right to change the lane. Second thing is he also wanted to add a huge size alarm over there as well, so which is going to be indicate to the car drivers. So this is again a very normal problem being a truck driver he was facing. So using this strategy, he asked me, I wanted to resolve this problem. So we then invented a product for him. Again, ideas are available, but it doesn't mean that every idea, every problem which you are facing in your life is viable considering the cost, considering the technology limitations.
Nice. That's nice. So, guys, I wanted to tell you that if you have any questions that you wanted to ask, you can put it type right here, and Mohsin will try to answer those questions regarding the prototyping, regarding the problems that you are facing. So, Mohsin, thank you so much for coming to this session today. Before basically we move on to the questions that people wants to ask from you, I wanted to ask you that as you are an NICF startup as well, how was your journey at NICF went and how did NICF has supported you?
Okay. As far as my journey with the NICF, to be honest, when I started with NICF, I was already doing a good business. I was already running a full-fledged electronic product design company. So at that time, things was considering my idea and how I'm going to implement this was quite easy. But my weak side was of more of the financial planning, speech decks, and one of the most important is the networking to the right people. So uh, as far as my journey is concerned, I have get maximum benefit from the NICF considering these sides. So NICF helped me to connect with the right people, right investors. They organize an investor summit, so I have received the opportunity over there. And not only within Pakistan, one of the most important thing is they have given us a curriculum of FI, which is one of the biggest institute in the world, Founders Institute. So that was also another thing which I have learned from the NIC. And also one more thing which for which I really wanted to appreciate the NIC. NIC is actually working on the international platforms as well. Like they are going to connect with you international market as well. So I have experienced NIC at a Leap. I have experienced NIC in multiple, GITEX, etc. So this is one of the great opportunity for those who really don't have an idea what is the next step and how they are going to achieve their targets. So this is one of the beautiful platform.
That's interesting. That's interesting. So, what's your as NICF also has state of the art facility as well as we offer co-working space to our startups as well. So, which one of the NICF premises was your favorite spot to work?
Well, I love the auditorium. I got a lot of chances to present and to share my views with the audience over there as well. So I love that. But as a one very important point which I wanted to, maybe this is a negative feedback, but I wanted to share it with the audience. Like this could be a positive and this could be a negative. So whenever you are going to be the incubator, you have to avoid from the distractions because what is distraction? Because there are a lot kind of events are going at the NIC, and at their end they are going to try to connect with the right audience with you. So you have to be being a founder, you have to evaluate either this event is directly related to you or not. So you have to attend the right events, and also you have to take the information from the right resources available at the NICF. So just connect with the right people. So, for example, if your startup is from the tech industry and you are going to connect with the art industry, so then definitely it is going to be a problem for you, and you are going to waste your time as well. So this is a little exclamation mark over here. You have to work on yourself. Being a founder, you have a very clear ideas like where you are going to work. But on the other hand, as I mentioned, NSE is doing a great job. They have provided enough resources so that you can actually come to the market and you can actually be the successful.
Thank you so much, Mohsin, for the kind words and for your basically concern. I think that's your advice to other founders as well. Because when you come to an incubation center, then a lot of things are happening here. Because at the same time, a lot of startups are working, a lot of hustle and bustle is going on. So you have to basically wholly focus on your mission, on your startup, on your product, rather than the distraction, which is we call like the founder charm. You should stay a little behind from this founder charm actually. So if we have a question in the chat box, so Halima asked you that truly a great session going on. Just a quick question: what's your prototyping strategy? I think Mohsin has left us. There is a little basically technical problem. So I wanted to ask you guys if you have any questions, you guys can type in here. Um let's wait for Mohsin to come. Uh, yeah. Yes, welcome back, Mohsin. So this is like, these are some of the technical issues that we face in Pakistan. And as a founder, people should basically, use these different small chunks to make bigger things that can benefit our economy too. So there are a couple of questions in the chat box. I wanted to ask the first question. So Halima has asked, what's your prototyping strategy?
Well, I think as far as the prototyping strategy is concerned, um, every product has a different product lifecycle. So I would like to explain with one of the examples. So as I have explained about earlier about the idea of a truck light. So as far as the truck light idea is concerned, the prototyping steps is again the step one is the feasibility. We have to do the complete feasibility research. We did actually the complete feasibility research. What will be the cost of the light? Because truck lights are available anywhere in the global market, so we have to compete that market as well. So we actually did the feasibility, which components we are going to use, which strategy we are going to use, and the most important challenge in this case was also the design patent, because my client wanted to take a patent as well. So in this product the major challenge was the patent as well. So we have to choose the components, the design, and the new features, so that my client can go to the patent attorney and they can file a patent as well. So the challenge of each prototype is different. So in this case, the major challenge was to come up with a patent. So once we win the patent with some adding new features in the hardware, we adding new features in the overall application, then we started the actual product design prototyping phase. During prototyping, again, I have explained the process, the PCB designing, the electronic schematics, and all of these working we actually do in a parallel. At one time, at one side, electronic schematics is have been started, and but on the other hand, the enclosure design process have been started. So once this will be done, then we actually assembled and tested, and we have achieved our desired results. Then we ship complete units to our client. Now he actually fit this product on their trucks and he tested. Although this was again a version one prototype, but he tested, he feels the functionality is good, but he was not comfortable with the alarm buzzer sound. So then he sent it back to us, and then we actually updated the alarm system again in it, and we called it as a version 2, and we sent him again, and then tested, and it was fine at this stage. Then we started working on the mass production as explained the process. So how I am doing the prototyping, we have a complete lab where we have a complete resources available, the testing, monitoring, and everything available. So we actually do the prototyping in our lab.
Okay, okay. So next question is from Osama Rayu. He asked you, can you please provide some insights on product certifications to keep in mind while launching into the Pakistani marketplace?
Well, I believe someone has asked the most important question, which I have missed in the process. And whenever the first process which I have explained, I missed this step. This is one of the most crucial step. Whenever we are going to launch the product in the global market, I'm talking about the global market, because whenever you are going to work with your own startups, you are not going to stop within Pakistan. So you have to move towards the global market as well. So whenever you are going to design any product, you have to consider this thing, like you are going to target the whole market, global market. So And also there are second thing, considering the certification standards, there are multiple types of standards available in the market. So considering Pakistan follows multiple types of standards. We also follow the US standards. We also follow the European standards. Pakistan, unfortunately, haven't decided any exact, certifications which they are going to follow. So, for example, if a product has followed the US standards, it is legal to sell in the Pakistan. And even if they have followed the European standards, so still this is illegal to sell within Pakistan. So, and also the second thing is, whenever the electronic product is concerned, if the product has any kind of a wireless thing, then FCC standard, this is one of the famous standard which will be applied. And on the other hand, the standards are probably same in the global market, just the names are different with little bit, specifications. So on the other hand, if the FCC standard is in the US market, then on the other hand, the same standard in the Europe will be called as CE marking. And then in Pakistan, similarly, you have to follow the FCC standard. And then mostly, probably 99% products have to follow the ROHS standard. And this standard is basically for the the materials, like which kind of a material you are going to use in your product. Either this has a limited elements of the multiple chemical hazards materials. So you have to be careful, like these are in the limited, which is in the allowed limits. So for this, there are multiple standards: FCC standards, ROHS. These are the most common. Third is the UL laboratories. And again, it varies from product. If you are going to use the batteries, then the standards will be different. If you are going to use the pets products, then the standards will be different. And if you are going to use any kind of product in which human body is involved, then FDA will be involved. And FD has further classes as well. If the product is going to be inside of the body, then the class 3 will be implemented, otherwise class 1 will be implemented. So there are a lot of other things. So as far as the Pakistan market is concerned, you still have to follow the international standards, because unfortunately Pakistan hasn't defined the clear standards at the moment.
Perfect, perfect. So our last question for today is from Muhammad Asad. He has asked how much difference in updated version of product is required in order to be eligible and potential approval of design patent. As per my knowledge, it's 40% internationally. Would love to hear professional input from your side.
Can you repeat your question? What he actually wanted to know about the certification cost?
See, so he asked like how much difference in updated version of product is required in order to be eligible and potential approval of design patents.
Well, as far as the design patents and concerns, I have not direct information about knowledge about the how much the updated design versions actually cost. But as far as my knowledge, how which strategies we actually use to take the costing of the certifications down. Whenever we are going to choose any of the components, we are going to use the pre-certified components. This is one of the most important strategy. We actually consider this during the feasibility phase as well. So if we are going to choose the components which are not pre-certified, then you have to apply for the certification and you have to go through that all of the process. So for this, the strategy number one is to use the pre-certified components. And on the other hand, as far as your question is concerned, as far as my information, because patent is a complete different department, and patent attorneys actually do with these kind of a thing. But as far as my information, if you have taken a patent, the first step of the patent is to apply for the provisional patent, which is valid for 1 year. And within this year, you can actually design and develop your product, and you can actually save your idea. After that, you have to apply for the permanent patent, which is costly. Okay, in US, probably it costs around 9,000 US dollar to 10,000 US dollar per year. So then you have to pay for the yearly for the permanent patent. So as far as the design updates and the impact of the design update on the patent cost, I really don't have an idea, and I believe it has a direct impact on the product to product as well. I mean, there is no gonna be a fixed price for this as well.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you so much for Mohsin for coming to this LinkedIn Live today, and I hope our audience has learned a lot from you today. I also have learned a lot today about prototyping and about like how to do design work and how basically the patents and different problems are there in this field that we even do not consider before basically thinking about that we wanted to build a hardware product, right? So thank you so much, and thank you so much guys for listening to this LinkedIn live today. And I wanted to let you guys know that our cohort 8 applications are open. Deadline is coming very soon. You can apply on our website, which is www.nicf.com. So you guys can go and apply for our cohort 8 and get benefit from this state of the art facility, from our mentorship circles, from our industry linkages, and from the investor network that we are providing you. So thank you so much guys. Do apply there. Allah Hafiz, khayal rakhiye.